We should be good. We should be live everywhere.
Did it.
We did it. Now my phone's pulling up. All right. Wow. People on Instagram already saying hello. What's up? What's up is the market.
What's up is the market. What's up is
Yes.
Matei's account today.
Yeah.
Great day today
Everybody's
so
account.
far, guys. Still a few more minutes we can squeeze out.
Yeah, yeah. So for those just joining, we'll probably review some trades here, but there is a path right now in the market. If this 45 holds on SPX, we do have potential to trend up to 6,800. So a little bit of a little bit of resistance between 60 and 70, but if we can get through it, there is a path. So we're just kind of watching that with runners. Right now, we caught some amazing calls off the lows based off this gamma profile. Really textbook play today. And so now we're just kind of seeing if we can get some more out of this thing.
You want to, maybe in a minute or so, maybe we can kind of, let's talk about where SPX is, especially after last week's move lower. Maybe give everybody kind of our perspective of where we are going into the long weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we can maybe transition into some other things, maybe some names that we're liking.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Yeah, let me get situated here and make sure everyone knows that we're live.
No rush at all.
Yeah, and I think that's a good topic. Is J Money here? I see him. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. Here.
Thank you, man.
It makes me think of the what's that Coach Hines skit or whatever. Do you know what I'm talking about from SNL? The attendance thing. Anyone?
I don't know that one.
No, I'm not familiar with that.
Substitute teacher with Key and Peele. No, anyone? Oh, it's so good.
Oh, Aaron.
Aaron. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know what his name. I didn't know Coach Hines, but
maybe it's not. I think
I
that might be a
that
different
skit.
one, but yeah, it's that.
Definitely know that skit.
Yeah, it's classic. Okay.
SPX is holding 6736 here. It's a level that I was watching earlier. And sorry, I'm getting into the technicals here. I'm just watching what it does here over the next few minutes.
Oh, cool. This is something we can promote to the people. So you're in calls already, somebody asked. We are in calls already, yeah. We've been long since 6,700. But like we're just kind of talking about, we'll do a little overview here, but there's a path right now. If we can get over this 50 area, there's a path to trend into 6,700. If we can break away from the 67, 50, 60 area, it's decent resistance right now. So we may end up pinning somewhere in here. We have about an hour to go. But given the landscape, if we do start to push, runners can pay, and honestly, the premiums are still very cheap for that end of day move. We're just kind of watching that, so it could present some entries as well if you missed it. All right, you wanna? Well, now that we have people joining, let's like you said, let's talk about where the market is, what the heck's going on. It's been a really volatile couple of weeks, in particular the last week or so. I'd like to hear your thoughts if you want to go first. So where
Okay.
we're at, like what are your how are you
Okay.
feeling about the way the market sold last week, and then has essentially recovered that entire dip from the big rejection on Thursday last week. So
Yeah. I mean, it's been pretty turbulent. It's been a market where you have to be super nimble, right? So it's been a market for day traders. I think it's been more difficult to swing unless you caught that low and been swinging since. So as a day trader or as a group of day traders, I think we've been doing really, really well. I think a lot of traders here that kind of thrive on the volatility. I think uh, being able to not only read the price action, but having some of the gamma tools that we have, help us navigate. I think that's just added another layer of kind of conviction when we take these longs or shorts, right? Because we trade both directions. Like big picture, what SPX has done here, basically rinsed sentiment, right? So for a bit, it felt like you could just buy any dip. You had high flyers, zero revenue companies, AI, kind of tangent companies flying into, you know, double, triple kind of market cap within weeks or days even. And so what's happened since is that a lot of that froth has been cleared out. So what you're seeing now is just a nice little bounce back. And just if I'm looking at the daily here, Mate.
yep.
So just looking at the daily, just last week, right? We broke below all moving averages. And the ones that I look at are the 9, the 20, the 50, and the 200. The moving averages that have been in play here recently have been the 9, the 20, and the 50. And so the signal for the short was obviously when the 9 crossed the 20. So shorter term trend became downside. So that's when I started looking more at downside moves. And the target for me has always been that October 10 low. So remember when Trump came out and said 100% tariffs on
Mm-hmm.
everything China, the market took a big dump. And so that, you know, that range has been used in the past. So when that move happened to the downside, we looked at that range as we tracked back into new all-time highs. And now that we're revisiting that range, I always look at those pivots. So I always look at the high of that day. I always look at the low of that day. And so last week, Thursday, Friday, we basically closed below that 65.50, which has been a level that both you and I and everybody else within this team have been talking about being a really good target. So when that happened, I flipped more of a bearish kind of sentiment in my head. And this is, me who's really not a bearish kind of trader. Like I prefer the upside, but I will trade the downside. And so that cleanse that we got the other day was a huge engulfing kind of candle. And going into the next day, you and I were watching that 65.50 very closely. We actually caught that huge move back up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the way we did that was we watched that pivot and we traded that together with Gamma and some of the other indicators that we have. And where we are now is basically, very close to where this sell-off started. I think it was Friday, right? And so that level that I'm watching now, which is a pivot, it's the high of that Friday, which is 67.70. So what I'm trying to say here is that we've put in a magnificent bounce. I think I'd say this is behind us if we can clear that high, which is 67.70.
Yep.
We're recovering all the moving averages. There's still work to be done. There's a bit of a trend line of lower highs that we're kind of looking at here on the daily, which we need to clear. I think once we close above 6,800, I would be a little bit more confident for all-time highs. Until then, we might see a little bit more up and down action.
Yeah. Well said. I'm aligned with you. I really don't have much to add. That 67, 64, 70 area is the previous all-time high, and ironically the same spot that we had that 3% down day in October, right? That you had mentioned. So recapturing that, if we close above that this week, to me, that's kind of everything that you just said is just more valid, right? And in play. So we've really needed that reset across some of these frothier areas of the market. And You know, we also got some healthy rotation as well during this whole thing with healthcare,
Mm.
in particular, right? Like something more, or something more. So for
Yeah.
now, this is very constructive, and pretty bullish. But we'll see where the week closes. It's also a low volume week, right? So we'll see how things shake out. But for now, that, and it's also boosted by the Fed funds futures rates now implying 80% chance of a cut, whereas before it was a little bit more uncertain, right? We had a little bit of turbulence in that narrative, and now it seems a little bit more certain. So, which is good for the markets.
Yeah. Those 755s are almost in the money here.
Nice. So what active positions are we holding right now? I have 90s as runners. That's it, I think. Let me double check.
Okay.
You're in
Sorry,
70s?
67.55 actually. I exited
Oh,
yeah. So I just rolled 67.55s. I'm also in some Apple longer dated ones, December 19.
nice.
Took some off today after the squeeze higher today, and just kind of sitting on those. But for now, just kind of sitting pretty tight.
Nice.
What are your active ones?
I'm only holding the 6790s as a rule. Super cheap.
Okay. So
For
what is your like reasoning for the 90s? That feels pretty far away.
Yeah, so it's this. If we go to the gamma profile, there's a peak, very large peak above us, 6,800, and we're in this supportive charm environment, which basically just opens up the possibility that we can trend toward that. Now, obviously, it's getting a little bit late, and that was something I was looking at earlier. But yeah, it's just 'cause when you've profited enough, to me, like some of those extreme scenarios can be worth having a lot of on because they're practically free. And then if we do get that move, as we know, S&P premiums can go pretty crazy. So
Yeah.
I think if it weren't for that peak, I would not be thinking that up there.
You want to explain it
So
a little bit for people? Perhaps people are not familiar what the platform is that you're looking at and
yeah,
what the hell you're
yeah,
doing, taking those 90 calls. You want
yeah.
to talk about some of the calls that you took already, maybe some gains.
Yeah, and so the product's options depth, which we are partnering with their team, they've got the best product out there, and one of the main reasons why, for those that might have started to see some more like heat maps out there, or heat seekers, different products are popping up, is what seems like left and right. I just would say one of the things with options depth that really makes them different is they're paying for, it's quite expensive actually to get the data. The data that they have is extremely reliable, and they're going directly to the source to get it all. So it's not something that's just like being scraped or whatever. It's a pretty significant overhead actually to get not only just the data that they're getting, but how they're crunching the data and displaying it is very unique compared to other products. So that's why we're partnering up with